You want to know more? You have to watch this video now.
Click like, subscribe, notification.
As my client, you may think of me as a person who is knowledgeable and experienced. You may be willing to pay me a large sum of money to do what you feel is impossible. For me, it is natural and possible. It is something I have learned from my own experiences as well as from watching others. I am a quick learner. I am a person who pays attention to what others do or say, if it interests me. I am a respectful person who will kiss a woman's hands with a slight of a smile, but I will never sleep with your girlfriend or wife. My book and I are not the menu, we are the meal. As I have written before, for 2 decades, my ex-wife told me that I had a talent to motivate people to do their best. I am sure that you have heard that motivational speakers earn a living in many different ways. There are those who start working for free just to learn how to do it so that they can get the experience. Some will do it for a small fee but then market their CDs, compact disc, or DVDs, digital versatile disc or digital video disc, while others will retail for several thousands of dollars. I have learned along the way that if you do a good job, the audience will want to purchase your books, audio visuals, CD, DVD, HD DVD, high definition, density DVD, or BD, Blu-ray disc or just Blu-ray, or just streaming. Streaming through the internet both live now or pre-recording. I have personally seen those who were making hundreds of dollars when they first began and are now making thousands of dollars of material from a single event. My main purpose is to know that I have helped someone and that these people, in return, do the same to others. That is the most valuable reward. The first thing I must know about you as part of my audience is: are you here because you were told to be here? Or did you choose to be here? What is the insignificance of this? Obviously, I will be more influential if I have you as a friendly audience who chooses to be there. If you, as part of my audience, chooses to be present, it assures me that there is an interest in my philosophy and that you want to hear what I have to say. I do not require presenting opposing points of view or converting you. I just must concentrate on my call to action. I must be clear and strong when I tell you I am working to relay it to you. It is important to me to be the first or last speaker, if there are others, since there is no question that you remember best what you heard first or what you heard last. In addition, when I am on stage, my strongest points should be either at the beginning or at the end of my speech. I have learned to involve you by having a question and answer session or conducting role-playing. I permit questions throughout my sessions. I will stop and take a question, occasionally. You raise your hands. The only time I will not have a Q&A is at the end of my session when I want to finish on a high note. This is partly because I do not want to lose the attention of my audience. Some of you will consider too many questions an interruption in the flow of the meeting. If I see that you, or the audience, are not asking questions during the engagement, I will stop throughout the speech to ask if anyone has any questions on what I have covered up until that point. I may also go as far as choosing one or more people randomly by asking them questions about why they are there and what they have learned. I have learned to always treat my audience warmly, even if I do not agree with their questions or with the persistency of their questions. Nevertheless, I will support them by letting them know it was a good question and that no question is ever a bad question. A good life coach will never be hostile with his audience, so I am not afraid that I will get a hostile questioner who will try to make me look like a fraud. If I am asked a question I cannot answer, I will just tell that person I will get back to them in a few moments, or do what many other good speakers do, simply say, "That is a good question. Let us throw this one out to the audience for discussion. Who would like to comment on that?" Remember, this is not because I cannot answer but because I want to get everyone involved. I am supportive of those who have the courage to ask questions. Do you know when you learn the most? When teaching. If you really want to learn something, go out and teach it. You quickly forget what you have heard, but long remember what you have done. However, when I actually involve you and the audience, you also remain convinced for much longer of my methods and techniques. It is very important to get you involved. If your interest is in being a seduction coach, life coach, or a spiritual teacher, and you do not have strong credentials for your introduction, then wait until the end to tell your audience about yourself. Do not get carried away with your introduction. Get them to want more by telling them what you want from them. Do you follow? What makes me different from other life coaches? My approach is straightforward, to the point, with no bullshit in between. There are others who are equally qualified who will compete, but I, on the other hand, will just learn their positives and negatives and will not feel threatened. The way I work and communicate will be done in many ways, including being visual and auditory. I will talk, listen, look, touch, feel, smell, act. So again, what makes me different? I will not fail you. I will lose money and work with others in my field if it means that it will be better for you. Today, it is very difficult to decide to whom you should pay attention. You should not have to make your choice quickly to keep up with someone's ideas that grab and help you most, as well as held your interest. My job is not to convince you that I am one of the best. However, the challenge for you is to see all points of view that capture your attention. I want to ensure that my message comes across as I intend it to be. Today, you have unlimited choices from books and magazines. There are movies and television programs to watch. You have several choices of speakers and lecturers to listen to than you could possibly digest in a single lifetime. Do you agree with me on this? There may be a time that I, or another life coach, spiritual teacher, might disappoint you, or others, in the audience because you expected more due to the reputations of the speakers. Some in the audience may have found our talk, or us, hard to follow or confusing. We might not be as competent as speakers as they had hoped to hear. Some may say we really did not tell them anything. In contrast to others, you may hear much of what we said precisely because you were willing to listen to us. Your listening to us was an act of love. You loved us because you perceived us to be people of great value worth attending to, and you loved yourself because you were willing to work on behalf of your growth. You were willing to listen for 2 reasons. 1. You recognized our abilities and that what we had to say would have some value to you. 2. Based on your interest in the field, you wanted to absorb what we had to say to enhance your own understanding and growth. To help you stay focused on the small details you may miss, keep these facts in mind. I learned these from a YMCA program given by a woman named Tanya Walker who worked as a counselor at a detention center in Riviere des Prairies, RDP for short. Nothing is so simple that it cannot be understood. Why do we have 2 ears versus 1 mouth? People speak 1 to 200 words per minute, but they can listen intelligently to 6 to 800 words per minute. This amazed me and was mentioned in The Jake Hollow Guide on How to Persuade Women and Jake Hollow's Guide on How to Persuade Women, Revised Edition. If you or 3 others came to me for my services or advice and understood that I do have to make a living since I have no other means to receive an income. Why is this? I have decided to dedicate my life to this. Now, let's go back to those 3 who require my assistance. Does not need but wants by choice to elevate themselves. Has only a $1,000 in their pocket or bank account. Has only a $100 in their pocket or bank account. Has nothing, $0, they are broke. Let's say I ask each of them to give over a minimum of 10% of what they have. 1. Gives me $100. 2. Gives me $10. 3. Gives me their time and returns the same to another that is in the same situation. In the end, does this mean that number 1 gave more to me? No. They each were equal. Number 2 and 3 were not scamming me since before I took them on. I analyzed them in their manner and lifestyle. It showed that they were sincere and real. Not curious, but truly wanted to learn. They each gave equally what they could afford. Just because you believe you can't afford my value, between $300 and $900 an hour. I am truly worth, priceless, does not mean you cannot afford me. Point is, as long as I do not sense you are taking advantage of me or judgmental, I am there for you. What are you worth? The excerpt is taken from How to Deal with Emotions and the Life of a Motivational Speaker. So for more detail, pick up the book.
Thank you for watching. Like and comment, and don't forget to subscribe. See you at the next video. Challenge. Thank you for your support. We encourage you to share. Video is directed by myself, Gino DiCaprio.